to the teacher. It wasn't because I was a pet. It's because I wouldn't shut up. Oh, no. I was the guy that kept talking all the time. And I'm like, you're right here. Then there was nobody there for me to talk to. And then I wondered why the teacher always stood up in the chalkboard and would never come and sit at the desk. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute and counting as we get ready. Please. I want to emphasize this. When you speak, please speak into the microphones. I know it's a pain, but really, for the people that are watching us online, it really helps them a lot. So if you could please help us in that manner, we'd really greatly appreciate it. And so it's not going to be embarrassing or anything out like that. There's only a few million people that watch it, so don't worry about it. And, you never know. You might speak and somebody might be watching it and get a good glimpse of, or a good earful, and you might be famous one day. And so
I'm famous in this.
6:30. We should be going live. No, I don't want to shush. I want to wait. I like to talk while we're doing it. Mark's back here giving me the hand. Speak to the hand. I always do this to get a testing going, and so making sure that it's going. We're on. My wife is checking as well.
You gave me a couple more minutes to eat when you were talking to me while I was trying to eat.
Yeah, go right ahead. I'm surprised you're even done, Willie. So you're
I hadn't heard you do last time.
Anyways, here we are. We come live. We are live at NPR NAS. Welcome once again to our Wednesday evening Bible study on angels. We're in our 4th week. It's so exciting to have you here. We appreciate it. Once again, please speak into the microphone. And then we got folks online that are... It's Monday. What did I say? Wednesday? What is up with that?
Wednesday, right?
Yeah, so I'm rushing the week, and so thank you so much. You know why I said Wednesday? Because I have Wednesday on my mind as far as Wednesday mornings, 10 a.m. Broadcast that we do Facebook Live. This week we're going to be talking about sealing it with the blood. You don't want to miss this one. I'm excited about it. I'm doing some research on it. I'm just loving what God's doing with that. Wednesday mornings ministry, which is called Dry Bones to Life, giving the church answers. And so too many times for so many years, our answer has come from our leaders in our churches as well. Just pray or just open your Bible and find the answers for yourself. And usually that's a cop-out and they don't have an answer, so they tell you to go do that. But we endeavor to, not every church or every leader or every pastor, but again, our heart's desire is to give people answers, give the church answers, give people that are looking, what is their answers, and how do we overcome a lot of different things. And so we're tackling those things on Wednesday morning. It's only about 15, 20 minutes, and so if you can tune in live, then that'd be great. And I just want to keep encouraging you to hit the share button. Even afterwards, or right now, get on your phone and let's share this one. This video, believe it or not, our videos are reaching 300 and 400 views on Facebook Live. And so when you share, it goes out there. Even Sunday, everybody shared our service, and I'm pretty sure we're up to 300 and something on Sunday morning even, which is great because we've been hovering around 180, 160, 180 on Facebook. And so, and I think we had probably, 12 or 15 people total online Sunday. So, again, if you're tuning in, I wanted to give everybody just a second. If you are tuning in, please go ahead and just say a comment like hello or something like that. My wife is going ahead and monitoring for you as well, Mark, so she's got her phone up. Well, just, what do you call it? Moderator. Host? Yeah, are you going to do it or you want her to do it?
I didn't know she got to go here. Okay, yes, she can go.
Okay, so my wife will be hosting as NPR NAS, and so again, so you're going to need to make sure you get a microphone. Yes, because when people, where's the other lapel? Are you using it? She can have that. So if you're tuning in online, then please make a comment, shoot out a hello, and she'll send it back to you so that we know that you're tuning in online. We love interaction. And so it's always good to have a good crowd out for Bible study. And a big shout out to Miss, what's your name again, Pat? Miss Pat, for putting together our taco bar tonight. And so we thank you for that. And that actually got a couple of extra people to come out. And so And I noticed that Brian and Debbie were running because of the tacos when they heard about it. And so, oh, it was the rain? Oh, sure. I knew it was a taco. And so, anyway, so we thank you for that. And so, next week, what do we have in next week? Pat, do we have any ideas about next week yet? Maybe if we put it out there early, maybe we'll get a few more people in.
Ribs.
Ribs. Microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
She doesn't know yet. We'll let you know. Try to let you know a little bit ahead of time, a little prime there to try to get you out. She's always open to suggestions as well, so if you want to suggest something, we've got three, possibly 4 weeks left in the study. Just depends on how far we can get. So tonight we're going to continue with number 3. We'll finish this up. It may not look like a lot on the paper, but I promise you when you get down to the end of it, there's a lot of looking up and a lot of discussion. We had a great class last week talking about archangels, Michael and Gabriel. We learned a lot of things. Willie learned about the Ethiopian eunuch and why he was called the Ethiopian eunuch, with some other things. And so, and he learned a lot about some different stories. Did you get a chance to read any book of Acts at all, or?
No.
Okay, so.
Still working on that.
Still working on that. And so maybe you could get with your wife and she could help you read the book of Acts. And just take a little bit at a time. Don't try to do it all. And it's quite amazing. Yes, Miss Ronnie, speak in the microphone, please. Unless it's personal.
I saw a whole movie about Acts.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. There is a movie out. There's actually a movie out about Paul. If you want to look that up on Netflix or whatever, the Apostle Paul. Just type in the Apostle Paul. And there's a couple of movies out. So anyways, let's dive into a little bit. So next week we're going to get this finished up, all the good angels. Next week we're actually going to dive into the bad angels and the demons and the minions and things like that. So we're going to actually go through that quite extensively next week, and there's a lot more information that's not in your study. You want to be here, you want to tune in, because there's a lot more information that I have learned since we put this study together. On a really cool note and a prayer, and then we'll get started here. But on a cool note with a prayer behind it, Miss Tracy, I don't know if you're tuning in yet.
She's on.
She's usually on there, but Miss Tracy had asked me quite a while ago if she could publish this Bible study. And so I was quite humbled, first of all. I didn't think it was that great to start with, just because I just didn't. I put it together, and God's really blessed it, used it. So she's in the process of publishing that and putting that together to get it published. And so I'm excited about that. And if that ever does anything, then the proceeds will go to the ministry Dry Bones to Life Ministries, which is going to be a sending ministry to send people to missions and things like that around the world. So we're excited about all of that. So just be praying that that does work out. Pray that it hits the #1 best-selling list so that I have some bragging rights. I doubt it'll ever do that, but that's the only reason I say that. Not that as much as just giving people answers about angels. As we started at the beginning of the class, a lot of people don't understand angels, and I've had a lot of people wonder if angels even exist. So the only thing I meant to do tonight, Jody, and I don't think I did, was the letter from Miss Lou. So do you have that? Because we were going to run copies. I'll give you a second. If not, I've got one, and then I get you to go.
It's on everybody's packet. It's in the back of everybody's packet.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
My angel thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the back.
Okay. I was thinking for some reason I thought you said that you didn't have that in there. But
No, I didn't.
okay. So at the end of the class, if we have time, and I remember, we'll try to read that. If not, please read that at home. That is from a dear sweet lady. She's actually 90 years old at this point, but we got that 5 years ago now, 6 years ago possibly. And this is an encounter that Miss Lou had with an angel. And so you can read through that, and we've had some of you others in our very first class on angels. Miss Ronnie was there, and she shared a story that we can't repeat on angels. And so, no, just kidding. So she had an encounter with an angel. The only part she left out was it was her new pastor when he came to NPR Naz. And so, anyway, so let's dive in. We looked at them. Let's look at cherubims. And so we're going to take a couple of scriptures here. And so grab a microphone, And we're going to ask you to read about it, but we're going to talk about the description of these cherubims. Each one has 4 faces. And so I want you to imagine this in your mind if you can. They've got 4 different faces. We're going to turn the page in just a second. We're going to look at it. But I need somebody to look up Genesis 3:24. Miss Jody's got that. Exodus 25:18 through 20. Somebody raise your hand so I don't have to call on you.
Robert's got it.
Robert's got that? Okay. Did you raise your hand or Mark raised it for
He
you?
raised it for me.
Okay.
Here's,
Exodus 25:18 to 20. Now I need Ezekiel 1. We're not going to read all through those, so, okay. So if you can look that up, Heather, and then just kind of read through it and then pick out the description a little bit. And we won't do chapter 10, verses 1 through 22. So, Miss Jody, go for it. So as everybody reads, I want you to pick them out. It's on the next page, but I want you to pick out what they're reading as far as what the faces are.
After he drove the man out, he placed on the east side of the Garden of Eden cherubim, and the flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way of the tree of life.
Okay? So did everybody pick up what happened there? Okay, so after Adam and Eve got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, which, by the way, little trivia question here, where was the Garden of Eden?
on earth.
On earth in the Old Testament. And where was it? In reference to modern day?
In the Middle East.
You're close. Iraq.
Persia.
Yes. Somebody's dinghy's going off there. Ronnie, your phone's ringing. Okay. That's all right. Hopefully it's not an emergency. And so, yeah. Okay. So they were placed. So the garden, after Adam and Eve got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, God put 2 cherubims there. Why did He put the cherubims there? You got to use the microphone, Kathy. You're the key. Go ahead, Brian. You got it.
To guard the tree of life.
Okay. Why?
To keep them out of the garden.
You got to use the microphone because I can't repeat everything you say.
To keep them out of the garden.
Okay. Why did He want to keep them out of the garden?
Because they sinned.
Okay. And think through this. So put the 2 of you together. What Brian said and what Kathy said. Why didn't God want Adam and Eve getting back into the Garden of Eden to get to the tree of life? What would have happened?
Wouldn't it destroy?
No?
No.
You had cherubims there?
You had the cherubims there, but why?
To keep them out.
we already established all that. Okay, Heather, go for it.
From what I can remember, I think it's because they would live forever
Correct. In
in the garden.
In their sin. Yeah, so think about it. So if they didn't put the cherubims there, now if you was Adam and Eve and you got kicked out and you remember this beautiful garden, wouldn't you want to try to get back in? So that if you got back in, then the potential would be to eat of the tree of life once again. And once you partake of the tree of life, then they would have lived forever in their sin nature and never would have died. And they would have been completely 100% for eternity separated from an almighty God. Yes.
Free of knowledge of good and evil.
Which is the one they took, yes. Okay. You weren't in the microphone, so I had to cut you off. That's oh, you got microphone.
Yeah,
You're in the
sure.
microphone. Okay, yes, okay. So sorry. Okay, not used to you being here. Yes. Go for it.
Would they be alive right now if that happened?
Yes. So then you'd have a real big problem.
But then we wouldn't be there.
Okay, now we're really getting into some crazy stuff. So, good possibility. So, and we wouldn't have had taco bar tonight. So, good thing they didn't get back. So, all right. Exodus 25:18 through 20. Mr. Robert.
And if you shall make 2 cherubim of gold of hammered work, you shall make them at the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Make 1 cherub at one end and the other cherub at the other end. You shall make the cherubim cherubim at the two ends of it of one piece in the mercy seat. And the cherubim shall stretch out their wings above, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and they shall face one another. The faces of the cherubim shall be toward the mercy seat.
Okay. Anybody know what this story's about? Willie?
When it said they got four faces, right? They got four faces, right?
Yes, but that's not this
What
story.
face the direction he's talking?
Good question. We'll have to dig in deep for that. We'll come back to that maybe. If I can
Okay.
find the answer. Ken?
Wasn't he talking about the Ark of the Covenant?
Yes. Talking about the Ark of the Covenant. What was the Ark of the Covenant?
Where they put the Ten Commandments in.
What else? Anybody remember what else is in the Ark of the Covenant?
What's in it?
Yes. What's in the Ark of the Covenant? There's a jar with something in it.
Stuff.
Stuff. Good answer.
Take it to the mic.
Oil?
I didn't want to on that one.
No.
The mayonnaise. Hellman's mayonnaise.
All of it.
Manna from heaven. Okay. So, and there's some other things in there, but the cherubim, as they designed the Ark of the Covenant.
Didn't hear it?
So, what was the Ark of the Covenant at the time? Does anybody know that? What did that resemble?
What was it?
What did the Ark of the Covenant? What was the purpose of the Ark of the Covenant? Yes, sir.
The presence of God.
The presence of God, absolutely. And or in today's society, what do we have? Go ahead. The Holy Spirit, but also as far as something material-wise, what do we have? Because the Ark of the Covenant is no longer
The
around.
laws.
No, not the laws. It's the church.
Ten Commandments.
Yeah, the church. So, because the law was within the covenant, Ark of the Covenant. And so now we've come to church because this is where we call God's house. That make sense? So as they designed this Ark of the Covenant, they put these golden angels on there, cherubims, and they designed them and put them on each end. And so this was very, very sacred. So sacred to the point, another story which we don't want to get too deep into, is that the enemy stole the Ark of the Covenant and took it away. And then David sent some folks to go pick up the Ark of the Covenant. And when they were coming back, the only ones that were allowed to touch it were the priests. And they could only touch it with the handles. So they put it up on top of the donkey, and as it's coming back, it starts to fall, and a very innocent soldier who was walking alongside of it grabbed the side of it to keep it from falling off. And what happened to him?
He
Killed
died.
him. Killed him instantly because he was not authorized to touch the Ark of the Covenant. Only the priest of the day. And so, all right, just a little bit. So now again, how cool is the Bible, you know? And to dig in a little bit deeper, there's so much more about the Ark of the Covenant, and also the fact that as the enemy would try to take the Ark of the Covenant, everywhere it went, there would be a plague that would break out. And people were dying because they were not allowed to have the Ark of the Covenant. That was for the children of Israel, and for children of Israel only, because that was his. That was their God. God was there. And so, matter of fact, it got to the point where one king was just like, get that thing out of here. Get that back to Jerusalem. Get that back to the children of Israel. Otherwise, it's going to just decimate us. And so, all right. Ezekiel, who's got that? You got it?
No, I don't have
Oh,
it.
you got a question? Good.
What's manna?
What is manna? Well, it depends on how you look at it. So today's manna would be if you'll go to Maine and you will get what they call a Bismarck, which is like a donut thing, and it's like, you ever had a jelly donut? Well, these are rectangular jelly donut things sliced in half with jam on and jelly and stuff like that, and then a whipped cream style, and they put that together, and once you bite into that, that's like manna from heaven. So that's my version of it.
Well, but what do you have in the jar?
They actually had,
They didn't have that.
well, I don't know, because maybe they found the jar, and that's where it just kind of grew. Anyway. So the manna was heaven was when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, and they were out in the wilderness, and they were wandering around. And all of a sudden they start complaining, man, we're going to die out here. There's nothing to eat. We're in the desert. We're in the wilderness. God says, calm your jets. I'm going to take care of you. So every morning, when they would wake up, except for the Sabbath, which was Saturday, they would wake up and there would be these cakes of manna on the ground from the dew. And they were only allowed to take as much as they could eat for that day. And if they, whatever was left over, they had to discard. If they tried to keep it to the next day, it would get moldy. Well, being human beings as they were, there was a whole clan that got greedy and tried to take too much, and then the leadership found out, and they ended up killing them. And so that they were strict in the Old Testament. So if you take too much taco salad,
As you can see, Willie eats everything in front of him.
yeah.
I'm
So,
almost Hispanic, part of it, I'm like 10%.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have a right to do that.
Okay. So that's manna. And so not only did he provide manna, but what else did he provide? Quail. So a lot of cool stories. That's in the Old Testament.
Manna wasn't enough on the law.
So then, but they had to. So on Friday, you have to remember, on Friday, Sabbath through Saturday, they couldn't do anything. So they would actually have to gather enough on Friday to be able to sustain them and their family all the way through till Sunday, and then they could get it again. And if they didn't, they went into it. So, cool. All right, Heather, what you got? Don't read the whole thing. Just pick out some good stuff.
There's a lot here. Okay, so Ezekiel 4, or Ezekiel 1, and then I'll just select.
Okay.
I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by a brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like a glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, their feet were like those of a calf, and they gleamed like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands. All 4 of them had faces and wings. And the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each one went straight ahead, and they did not turn as they moved. Do you want me to read about their faces?
Sure.
Okay.
Because it's next, so you might as well.
So their faces looked like this. Each of the 4 had the face of a human being. On the right side, each had the face of a lion, and on the left, the face of an ox. And each had the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. They each had 2 wings spreading upward, each wing touching that of the creature on either side. And each had 2 wings covering its body.
Okay, that's good, because we're going to read down through these, and you can continue on reading that in Ezekiel chapter 4. It doesn't sound like a very beautiful angel, does it?
No, it doesn't.
So, it doesn't sound like one at all. So again, as she read through it, so the front piece, the front side of it would be like a man, a human being, and then the right side would be as a lion, and the left side is an ox, and then the back of an eagle. I saw a picture or something. I was looking something up the other day, wasn't even this, and I actually came across somebody that actually painted a picture of one of these, and might have even been on social media or something. What's that?
Yes.
She said, does it represent the 4 Gospels? I've never thought.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's the 4 Gospels, because, I mean, actually it would represent Christ, because Jesus, being a man, the Lion of Judah, obviously was he referenced as ox, and then he is fly as high as an eagle, so it could be mount up with eagle's wings. And so, but if you can, that's what's so cool about the Bible. You can kind of cross-reference things, and whatever the word is I'm looking for, that you could
Research.
yeah, you could research. No. So anyways, just imagine these angels, and so it was really the picture I saw was actually kind of cool, and so you can look them up. What does a cherubim look like? You can look that online, and you'll see different pictures that people have done, and so go for it. Get your phones out and look at them. Yes, that's what I like people to do in the class, and so each one has 2 pair of wings. One pair, she read, spreads out from the middle of the back. The other pair is used to cover its body. And so this is all on your handout, Willie. And so The other,
Am I looking confused now?
nope, you're just looking really intrigued, like, wow, this is better than the eunuch.
Yeah.
So they have legs of men, but their feet are cloven, which is like what?
Hoofs.
Hoofs. So they had the hoofs and cloven, which shine like polished brass. So imagine, can you just kind of put this in your head? So they have 4 human hands, with one located under each wing. So I don't know if you got this picture in your mind or not. If I was really artistic, I would have drawn something up there for you, but it really would. It would probably look like, you know, a chicken in the fryer or something. I mean, it would just be horrible. So I didn't even attempt it.
I don't know that this was meant to be scary looking. I think that if you break it down, lions are gorgeous, you know, and you could, man, space, I mean, you could, I don't know, it just doesn't, and eagles are just intriguing. I don't think it was meant, even though we look at it, I don't think it was meant to be, I think they were beautiful.
So if you want to jump ahead, hang on to your finger there, go to the next page on Angels 4, and it'll tell you what kind of an angel Satan was. What's that? Yeah, that's fine, that's good, I'm glad. What kind of an angel was Satan?
Cherub.
He was a cherub. And so, what did Satan look like? He still looks like this. But it also said, and we're going to read and find out later on, that what does the Bible say that, how did he look? He was the most beautiful of all angels. So again, as Love would say, you know, is anybody commenting online? Or are we?
It runs behind, so it's a little bit hard because
That's okay, we go back.
Yeah, they have, but back.
I don't want to miss anybody.
Well, I mean, back said manna, back.
Okay.
And also Tracy said the church, that said Bible.
Cool.
But it's running a little bit longer behind.
That's fine.
than normal.
Yeah, just stop us. Mark does it all the time. So.
It's about a minute and 20 seconds delay.
So this comes in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little more than normal.
Yeah. Okay. So let's continue on. So imagine again, picture this angel, this cherub in your mind. So now let's talk about is there any questions or comments, first of all, about these angels? And
Yes.
what they look like? Yes, sir. Go for it.
Yeah, because you don't want to ask. My question is, there's 4 sides to the angel, right? They do not turn around.
Right.
How do you, because you can't walk around them, how do you get description to each 4? Who wrote it? Who described it?
Ezekiel,
Who
which came from God.
Ezekiel, he was the prophet.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. You almost had me.
Answered it myself?
Yeah.
Very good.
But you almost had me, Robert. You were close.
Yeah.
So, all right, good. Any other questions?
Took me a while to think of that.
Comments? Everybody good? Okay, now let's talk about their duties. We already talked about the fact that they kept Adam and Eve out of the tree of life after the fall. Number 2, the 2 golden cherubims were constructed in God's command and placed at either end of the ark, lid in the tabernacle of Holy of Holies. So we already talked about those 2. Then we just read about the fact that one of their duties was they appeared to Ezekiel. So if you were to read on, you would find out why they went to Ezekiel. And then what's number 4 say? Prior to the fall, Satan was the chief. He was the head honcho. He was in charge of all of them. So as we're going to find out next week, we also know that how many fell with him? 1/3. A lot of them. Yeah, 1/3 of them fell. How many angels are there?
Can't count them.
Innumerable. You can't count them. So imagine what 1/3 of you can't count them are. So, and we're going to find out in a couple of weeks. We'll come back to this in the next week or the week after. I can't remember exactly. But even so, just to kind of give you an idea of how many fell, because only just a smidgen of them actually entered into a human being in the New Testament in a legion. Does anybody know how many a legion is? Because remember the story about Jesus casting
10,000.
out. How many?
10,000.
You're close.
100,000?
No, go the other way.
1,000.
No.
I guess.
6,000. 6,000 is a legion.
Roman legion is 10,000. So we're
Yeah.
not talking about Romans. So.
Well, let me look, because you may be right. But for some reason, I saw somewhere and I thought the same thing. I
Yeah, I'm
thought,
never right.
somebody look it up. How many is a legion? A legion of angels that were cast out. Somebody look it up. Pretty sure it was 6,000. But anyways, if you imagine 6,000 demons inside somebody. Yes, sir.
I was under the impression that Satan was cast out and a third went with him.
Yes.
But you're saying a third also got cast out? No?
Well, they went with him. So what I'm saying cast out was that the 6,000, a legion of them, it's either 6 or 10,000, entered into this human being, and Jesus encountered them, and he said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am Legion." And so, which means,
He was referring back to when you said
Yeah.
Satan was cast out and a third of them. He was trying to understand whether a third were cast out or they just went.
That's what I'm, yeah.
oh, well, they went with him.
They
He convinced them to go.
They chose to have pride and go.
Has anybody found it yet? How many a legion is? Heather, you're sitting there. Are you?
No, I'm looking for pictures.
Okay. Somebody else look it up. Kathy, did you find it?
No, we just found out Rachel's flying in.
Man.
Oh,
We're just trying to figure it out.
Speak into the microphone, please.
Our angel is flying
Oh,
in.
okay. Pat, you got it?
No, I,
Okay, where's my phone?
picking up everybody else's stuff.
All right, let's take a second. Come on, Tracy, help me out.
6,000.
6,000.
Legion is 6,000.
6,000.
Okay, I thought so. Okay,
Matthew.
yes. The encounter. So, anyway, so let's get back to, so we find out that we'll find out more about Satan and his demons, and as we call them, the minions, and we're going to find out a lot more about him over the next 2 to 3 weeks. All right, here's where it's going to take a little bit of time. Believe it or not, it's already 7 o'clock. I'm always amazed at how quickly time flies in our classes. And so it will take us 20 to 30 minutes. If we get done early, we'll get done early, but I doubt it. But anyways, seraphims. Anybody ever heard of a seraphim? Not the saran wrap. Seraphim. But an angel called a seraphim. Isaiah 6, 1 through 7. Who'd like to look that one up? Jody, you already got it? Into the microphone. Jody loves to read. Can you imagine being Jody's child?
I never
You
used
probably-
to, though.
I was going to say, you probably read to your kids
I
all
did
the
not.
time.
I
Oh,
did not.
that's what that explains.
In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a throne high and exalted at the train of his robe. And the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him were seraphs, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. And they were calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of your glory. At the sound of their voices, the doorposts and thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe to me, I cried, I am ruined. For I am a man of unclean lips. I live among people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. Then one of the seraphs flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. With it he touched my mouth and said, See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned for.
Okay. Does that recognize, does anybody recognize where else that is written? Book of Revelation. So we went over that in our class. So a lot of information. So let's go back, think about it. If you need to look it up, look it up. So let's talk about these seraphims. What do they look like?
They have wings around their,
How many wings?
no, 6.
6 wings. Okay, what else? What is it? Oh, yes, 2, 2, and 2.
They cover their face, they cover their legs, and
Microphone, sir. Microphone.
flew into, they had two around their legs and two around their face.
Okay. What else? Mark, you got something?
Sandy is on YouTube, probably the only one on YouTube, and she's got about 10 answers here so far.
Okay, awesome. Is it
I don't-
one that we're talking about, or are we going all the way back to the beginning?
Innumerable, I think was the last comment.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Sandy. Glad you're on there. Whose phone was that? Yours, Mark?
Mark Arnie.
All right. So what else about it? Jody, you might have to look it up and read it again. What else about these seraphims? What do they do?
They sang,
They sang. What did they sing?
holy, holy, holy. is the
Holy,
Lord
holy, holy, Lord God Almighty. And you can sing the rest.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
So what? Before you go there, what's kind of cool about this is there's a misconception. Okay, there's this misconception. How many of you have ever heard this? When we get to heaven one day, we're just going to be around the throne of God 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just singing holy, holy, holy.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but how boring. Really?
I don't think that's so bad.
No, that's the job of these angels. That's what they're doing. They're around the throne of God, and they're crying holy. They're singing holy, holy, holy. Now, will we get to sing around the throne? Absolutely. Will some of you that can't sing for nothing be able to sing? Absolutely. You're going to have a perfect voice, and I'm going to be able to play the drums like Justin does. And so, man, talk about a heavenly party we're going to have. And so, what else, Jody?
See, at the sound of their voices, doorposts and thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke.
So there's smoke. No. What's that?
Get a concert.
They had a concert, yeah. I mean, wrong kind of concert. Go, come on, Jody, get me out of this one. What else? Anything else about their description?
They took the coal and put it to his lips.
Yes. So they had a specific job. So he's flying around and he takes this coal, takes the tongs and takes the coal and puts it onto his lips. And so when you go to the book of Revelation, you find out that John the Revelator quotes the same thing. So, very good. So these are seraphims and they fly around there. Where are they at? Where are they at? They're in the heavens. Remember the three heavens? So they're in heaven and they're flying around the throne, and that's their job, is to glorify the Lord and to magnify God. Okay? Yes.
Imagine the power in the chorus to
Yes.
shake the doorpost though.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a drum.
Yeah. Okay. Comments, questions? Seraphims. All right, let's move on. There's some called the ruling angels. Now these are kind of cool. They only go by, the Bible only calls them the ruling angels, and so we need to look these up in Revelation chapter 4, 6 through 9. Who's got that? Pat's got it. Grab your microphone.
Also before the throne, there was what looked like a sea of glass, clear as crystal. In the center around the throne were four living creatures, and they were covered with eyes in front and in the back. The first living creature was like a lion. The second one was like an ox. The third had a face like a man. The fourth was like a flying eagle.
That sound like
Each of the four living creatures had 6 wings and was covered with eyes all around, even under his wings. Day and night they never stopped saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. Whenever the living creatures give glory, honor, and thanks to him who sits on the throne and who lives forever and ever.
Okay. So these ruling angels, what's their job? Microphone, sir.
To magnify the Lord.
Absolutely. Yeah. doing the same thing as the seraphims. And so these angels are there, and that's their responsibility, is just to magnify and to glorify and to sing. But imagine again, I want you to picture these different angels, because it's kind of neat that they have the same kind of a head. They got the faces of a man and the ox and the eagle and the lion, but yet they had eyeballs all over them. And so, I can imagine having to buy glasses for them. And so,
Contacts.
yeah, contacts in each eye. Man, it'd take 3 hours just to put your contacts in. So, but imagine with that many eyes, he probably doesn't need them. So, and they're made perfect. Why? Because God made them. So, and you can read the rest of these, because I do want to get on to the next one that everybody's asked about. Everybody wants to know: do guardian angels exist?
Yes.
Absolutely. So, as we get ready to read, somebody turn to the back of your book to Miss Lou's story. We'll get you to read that in just a second, but I want to back it up with scriptures first. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 10. Who has that? Linda's got it? Awesome. Linda's doing a good job to get there now. Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 14. Somebody take that. All right. Who's got that one? Who hasn't read yet? Brian? You got it? Hebrews 1:14, New Testament. I'll give you a hint. Towards the back. Okay, not yet. You're second. Okay. All right. Matthew 18:10, Miss Linda.
Take heed that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I say to you that in heaven their angels always see the faces of my Father who is in heaven.
Okay. So there's, what are these guardian angels doing?
Are not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for those who will inherit salvation?
Okay. So what are these angels doing? Ministering, guarding. So back in Matthew, when Linda read, what were those guardian angels doing?
Taking care of the little ones.
Taking care of the little ones. So they were there. And so, again, as we think about, kids and little ones, we always wonder, why does God allow to happen to them? And God knows exactly. His sin has entered into mankind. And so, unfortunately, people suffer through this and they don't have the correct explanation, other than the fact that God is aware, and because of the sin of man, God does not control man. He allows God, because I don't know if you picked up on that.
Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for those who will inherit salvation?
Interesting. Bet you didn't know that. Guardian angels are for the saved ones. And so, if you're here, you know Jesus, you got a guardian angel. And so, or a couple, it depends. Sometimes they change out, so it depends on who you are. And so, who's got the letter in the back that would like to read it? Miss Ronnie? No, you don't. No.
Number 17.
What's that?
I thought you already knew it. Home 17. 68, 17. Very back. Oh, this.
In the book, Ronnie. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, Pat, go ahead, Pat. Listen real close. Follow along. If you've got it in the back of your book, please follow along. It's really a cool thing, and then we're going to open up just for a couple of minutes to some of you that possibly have had some angel encounters. You just have to read, because that table back there is the naughty table.
Several years ago, Bob's mother became seriously ill. Jane, his sister, called telling Bob that he should come soon before she may pass away. I encouraged him to fly down. I could drive down later. The nearest large airport is located in Huntington, Virginia. I took Bob there to catch the next flight to Gainesville. Watching his plane leave, I soon was the last person left in the airport. As I turned to the car parking lot, I noticed my car was the only one left there. I got into the driver's seat to start the engine and open the trunk to get my purse and things I had left there. To my total surprise, I found a flat tire on the rear right side of the car. No one was there to help me, so I returned to the driver's seat to call Bob. When I got back out of the car, to my total surprise again, there was a young man. He was well dressed in slacks and a sport shirt. He said that he saw my problem and would be glad to change my flat tire if I would allow him to do that. I thanked him, and Bob, still on the phone, said to let him help me. After the tire was changed and all the tools were put in the trunk, I went to the phone to inform Bob of this. He said to pay the man and get his name so he could call and thank him himself later. I turned to do this, and the gentleman was nowhere to be found. Now I remember there had been no one there, no car anywhere in the entire area except mine. This airport is located on Big Hill, on the outskirts of town, with only one road leading into the section. There was still no car or vehicle behind except mine. I still, to this day, am convinced that the good Lord sent an angel to help me in my distress. He is just like that. God is good all the time. The lady who starred on Touched by an Angel was on the Today Show today, and this caused me to think of this incident. Wow.
I wish you could meet this amazing woman. She is probably one of the sweetest ladies you'll ever meet. She is just covered in sweetness, as they would say. She's not a big woman by any means. She's thin. She's probably 5'6", maybe taller, but very thin at this point. At 90, she's very frail. But what a sweetheart. But her daughter is just like her. Her daughter is probably in her late 60s by now. So to get Susan is her name, Kreitzer, and she's the lady that I have mentioned in church for some of you that has battled cancer twice, breast cancer and then lung cancer. And when she first got breast cancer, I was talking to her in my office one day, and I asked her, I said, "Do you ask God why?" And she looked at me and she said, "Pastor," she said, "I did that once or twice, and then the Holy Spirit said to me, why not me?" And that's the daughter of this lady. So you know she raised her right. But what a sweetheart. And so I know beyond a shadow of a doubt she had that encounter. And that was an angel. And maybe you've had some of the similar incidences where you had an angel and you want to tell a quick story. Ronnie, is it different than the last one?
Yes.
Okay.
It was years ago, and
This sounds like the same one. But go ahead.
this was years ago, and I was drinking then, and I had a little bit too much to drink, and I passed out at my girlfriend's house. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I was laying on the sofa. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up coughing. I couldn't see anything in the room. It was completely smoke. The chair was on fire, and somebody woke me up. And it was my guardian angel, because I was that loaded that I was out. And for somebody to wake me out of that dead sleep, and I grabbed the chair, grabbed the person out of the chair, and then threw the chair at, got the strength to put the chair out on the patio. So that was my guardian angel.
Okay. Cool. Anybody else? It was the same story, by the way.
Woke me up.
Anybody else have an encounter? Yes. Microphone, please. I know, it's Ken. He's your angel. And he just appeared one day, and you said, hubba, hubba, that's my man. Oh, this is a different one?
This is a true story.
Oh.
That was a fake news.
When I was on a missions trip to Romania, and I went with this older gentleman who was a missionary, and there was a teenage boy that went with us. And I was worried, we were in a taxi, and I was worried that we were not gonna have enough money for the taxi, because I couldn't convert the currency. So I said, should we get out here? Well, Roger, he's always up for an adventure. Come to find out, we got out of the cab where it was like a hood area, a very dangerous area. And we were lost because we thought we were close to the school that we were staying at. And I said, God, send me someone that speaks English. And just like that, a couple walked up and their English was perfect.
Oh, wow.
And we arrived safely.
Obviously.
There you go.
Wow.
Nice. Very cool. Okay. We're going to do the next one, and then we're actually going to go back through the trivia because we've got a little bit of time. We're over halfway through, and we're just going to zip right through them. But let's look at this last one. There are many more angels associated with horses and chariots. You can find those in the scriptures written down there, but there's a lot of different angels out there. But these are the angels that are mentioned, the good angels. We're going to venture into next week into the bad angels and the demons and all of that and Satan himself. But again, these are the good angels. And so what's kind of interesting is a lot of times as we go through talking about angels, everybody wants to stop. They stop right there and they don't think about the fact that demons and minions and Satan themselves are angels as well. They're considered dark angels. So any comments, any questions so far on the good angels? Everybody good? All right. Go back to your trivia. That'll be very, very beginning of your book, or you took it out, or whatever.
Does anybody not have it?
Does anybody not have it besides me? Now, let me see. If you got extras, because I guess. Oh, no, I got it.
Okay. Anybody need one?
Anybody need a trivia? Or a blank one? Maybe you want a blank one instead of the answers that you already wrote down. If anybody would like to do that. It's 20 questions. We'll buzz right down through that. The reason we do this is because I want to. 17 questions, because again, you're going to be able to answer a lot of these, and you're going to be just like, wow. Does anybody want a fresh one? Everybody good? Okay. How many books of the Bible are angels mentioned?
34.
34. When were angels created?
Before the earth began.
Before time and earth began, before creation. Name the duties of a cherubim.
Guard the tree of life.
What was it?
To God the God in the meeting.
Yes.
Guard the meeting.
That was one of them. What else?
Glorify Jesus.
There you go. They all glorify Him, so yes. Name another good angel. Here's where the... What is it?
Michael.
Michael. Who's the other one?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Very good. How many angels sided with Lucifer?
1/3.
1/3. What was the destiny of the bad angels? We haven't gotten into this yet.
The lake of fire.
The lake of fire. Okay. True or false? Angels are invisible.
False.
Okay. How many angels are there?
Innumerable.
Who is more superior, man or angels?
Man.
Angels.
Man,
I have a question.
Ah. Go ahead, Robert.
Angels on earth, man in heaven.
There you go. There you go. Right now, angels of the Lord. How do we know that, Robert?
Huh?
How do you know that? You wrote it
Because
down.
I learned it 2 weeks ago.
There you go. I wrote it on my paper.
I don't need it no more?
I mean, you can still keep using it.
Yeah.
That's it.
No. What's the matter?
My mic don't work.
Oh. So how do we know that? Because the Bible says that Jesus lowered himself below the angels when he became a man. Remember that? Okay. Number 10. Describe a cherubim.
4 faces.
4 faces. What are the 4 faces?
Eagle. Man.
I'm going to let somebody else.
Okay. Eagle, man,
Ox.
lion, ox. Okay. Where are we at? What else?
2 pairs of wings.
2 pairs of wings. What else?
Hands. He's got all hands.
Okay. You got some 4 hands?
cherubim had 6 limbs.
Nope. Seraphims are 6.
Yeah,
Seraphims. Cherubims are 4. What about their feet?
Hooves.
Hooves. And what color are they?
Gold.
Okay. What kind of legs do they have?
man.
Beautiful. New Testament are demons mentioned?
165.
Okay. What angel is under the control of the bottomless pit? Yes. What is it? Say it again. Abaddon. There you go. Or what else is he called by? Apollyon. Okay. Very good. Do angels experience emotions?
Yes.
Absolutely. Can Christians be demon possessed?
Oh,
Absolutely not. Can they be oppressed?
Yes.
We're going to talk a lot about that. And so, because there's a huge difference. Remember, what's the difference? What does possession mean? If you're possessed,
That they live inside of you. They're
more than that, because even oppression means they can get in.
they control.
Control. The key word is control. If someone is demon possessed, they no longer have control of their body. The demons can control them.
Yes.
If you're oppressed, the demons cannot control you.
Right.
But unfortunately, we give in to them. We're going to talk about that over the next few weeks. You're going to want to be there, because this is going to open your eyes, and it's going to give you a lot of knowledge to what these demons are capable of doing and what they do. By the way, Linda read the book that Vonda gave me. She passed it on to Beth, and Beth told me yesterday she's almost finished with it.
Yeah.
So that is a book. If you'd like to read it, get with Beth. Just again, want to warn you ahead of time. It's very, very deep, but it's an eye-opener. Does anybody want that next? This lady is a doctor, and she was at one time became the bride of Satan here in America. And so she's a Christian. She got saved. It's a Christian lady. She gives you from a Christian's point of view. So it's not a dark book. So is it something you're interested? You already read it? Oh, cool. All right. What did you do? Buy it after I mentioned it, or did you?
I read it years ago.
Oh, cool. Oh, you've been holding out. Why aren't you? Okay, you teach in the next few weeks, okay? And then you probably know more about it than I do. So, very good. Is anybody else? If you want it, get with. Does anybody know who? Does anybody want it here first? Anybody a reader? Okay. If not, then I'll have her pass it on to somebody else. If you don't want to read it, that's fine. I don't blame you. At first, you're just like, wow, this is a lot. Then after a while, it's like, okay, because then she gets into stories of how she was delivered and how people are saved and delivered. And so it's actually really a good book. It's a long book. But anyways, let's see. Number 16, can demons afflict human beings?
Yes.
Absolutely. What is the destiny of the fallen angels?
Live in hell.
Lake of fire. Okay, comments, questions? Rocky's going to be calling in about 3 minutes. So, all right, very good. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Have a good evening. We'll see you again back next week. Same time, 6:30, but tune in Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. for Dry Bones to Life Ministry. Yes, Ms. Kathy?
Next week is Labor Day.
Yes.
Are we still doing Bible study on Labor Day?
What do you think? Okay. Anybody want to skip a week, or everybody else want to come? Want to skip a week? Okay. So if we're skipping a week, whose house are we going over for a cookout? Pat's and Willie's. All right. If you want to go to Pat and Willie's next week, for Labor Day,